with the
Why'd you only do
episodes.
8 this year? I'm sure that was your choice.
Yeah, well, I didn't. I was going to do. What happened was I wanted to take a year off again. I wanted to not start shooting until the fall, and then and they agreed, FX, to let me take a year off. And so then a couple months went by. Just after I finished last season, I was really tired, and a couple months went by, and I was one night I got high. I smoked pot. And I got excited about a whole idea for the next season. I was like, I think I figured out next season. I've got an amazing idea for next season. And I started writing it, and I was like, this is going to be so great. I want to do this now. And I wrote to the president of FX because the next morning he was going to announce that we were taking a year off.
Right.
And I said, hold the announcement. Can I come back after all in the spring? And he said, shit, okay, I got to talk to everybody. So he went and talked to everybody. Then he wrote me back and he said, you have to say what you're doing now because we have to announce this. And he said, we already spent the money for a full season, but you can do a partial season if you want to come back soon. And I was like, totally. And then so he announced that the next morning. And then I woke up. And I looked at all the shit I wrote when I was high. I was like, this is terrible. This is terrible stuff. I didn't use a single idea. I had like 10 pages written.
Right.
10 stoned pages.
Could you tell us one idea?
It was all, the whole plot was that Doug Stanhope, who was on the show a few years ago.
As Eddie, yeah.
As Eddie, who the suicidal comic, that I run into him in New York, and he's like wearing a suit and tie, and he just, he cleaned up his act. And he's making money. He's like an investment banker or something like that. And we end up opening a comedy club together. I had this idea. I open a comedy club, and I become a club owner, and and I thought that's such a cool idea. I wrote all these ideas about young comics come and stuff like that. And then I looked at it all. I was like, no, none of this is funny. And it just stunk. It was really bad. And so now I'm like, I got to fucking. And I can only get 8 episodes. And the whole thing was just so stupid. It was just, I made a huge decision that had impact on my and a lot of other people's lives because a lot of people work for me. And I was stoned at the time.
That's wonderful to hear. How's the pot? You like the pot, huh?
I do very little of it. It's like every couple of weeks. If I do it, I'm very paranoid about drug use. So if I get high like twice in a week, I'm like, I have a problem, and I stop because I just don't like. I don't think it's good for comics getting high. It takes your will away and it makes you too comfortable. You know? So I don't do it a lot. And I got kids. I can't be fucking around with that shit. But once every couple of weeks. Smoke a little marijuana.
Just a little bit?
I bought a big thing of marijuana from a guy like 10 years ago. So I smoke very old marijuana. It's really old and dusty.
You still have it from 10 years ago?
I don't know how long ago it was, but it was a while ago.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. You know what they're doing with marijuana these days and the edibles? You can get some nice fresh stuff, Louie.
Yeah, but I don't want to I don't want to go become a consumer of pot and go find a pot guy.
Right. You told that wonderful story, I think it was in Comedians in Cars with Jerry.
Yeah.
Getting high and going to the 3D movies, the IMAX.
Yeah, I fucked up a little, too, because I've been back there since, and there's people who see me and oh, my God, he's high now. He's at the IMAX.
Right.
And that's like a perfect nightmare when you're high.
It's the thing now.
Yeah. So
You just want to go and relax and enjoy the movie.
That's all I want to do is I don't want to be pestered.
Yeah, nobody wants to be pestered when they're high.
I hate being pestered.